and get started. I do want to mention again that there's the online class to do this technique on a galvanized tree. And this is using copper and bronze patina and salt wash. And it comes out really neat. And there's 3 sizes of these trees, and then there's a sled, and then there's deer. And once you know how to do it, you can do the whole set. And these are available online. If you just Google galvanized Christmas tree, they'll come up in several different places. Usually the best place to get them is at Michael's, and they were on sale last week. I don't know if they still have them on sale this week or not. But anyway, I just wanted to remind you about this. So we have 2 projects today, and I don't know how far we'll get with 2 projects, but I have these wooden ornaments, which I think are really cool. And they measure, I think it's 12 inches by 12 inches. Let's see, I've got a yardstick here. So it's 12.5 by 16. So they're pretty good size. And I have 2 different designs that I want to do today, but there's so many different ways to finish these. And they're on my website. If you just go to wood, I think it's called Wood Projects as the category, you'll see these in there. And they're only $3.99. So I think that's a really good deal. And so that's what it looked like. I base coated this one in cotton. I was going to use Fluff, but I was out of Fluff, and I had a jar of cotton open, and that works just fine. The reason why I was decoupaging or wanting to base coat it is, and especially in white, is because I'm going to decoupage over it. And you know, you always need a good bright background behind your decoupage paper. And so on this one that I just showed you, I'm really excited to do this one. This is one of Roy Cycle's new stencils, and I have all of her stencils in stock now. The snow globe, that's what this one is a snow globe. And the Christmas things that go inside the snow globe, shh, be quiet, are these. So you can take any of these designs, which are really cute. You've got the cabin and the tree, and you can't see it here, but there's smoke coming out of the top. There's a snowman, there's snowflakes, and I love the one with the trees and the deer in it. That's probably my favorite. And all of these were designed to fit inside the snow globe. So I don't know how well that's showing on there. Not well, but you get the idea. So like you could put the tree and the deer and set them down. This would be like snow here. And there's all kinds of cool things that you could do. So one of the cool things I came up with today, I think it's cool, I'll see what you guys think, is this is an example. I'm going to put the camera down. So give me a second. It's never easy to adjust this. Trying to get it centered there for you guys. If you ever want to know what this blue tape is, it's to give me a guide of where I need to have the camera for the project. Okay, so what I did is I'm going to use the snow globe on here. It fits perfect. I was hoping it would, and it does. So it fits on here perfect. Just exactly right. And so up in this section up here, I'm going to, I made this stencil. It's a stencil that says, not a creature was stirring, not even a moose. And then it has a moose in the trees, and I know that it's clear and that makes it hard for you to see. But I cut out the moose on decoupage tissue, and that's on, let me put him down so the fan doesn't disappear. Okay, so that's done on the tissue that I designed that has 4 different designs on it. So on half of it, it has the green and black plaid, and then the barn, I can't think of what it's called, barn something. And then this one is just a Christmas plaid. And then on this side, it has the trees and the deer and the moose and plaid, which I just love. So you get all 4 designs on one sheet, and this is 20 by 30, 18-pound tissue paper. And then there's also one that just has this design on it. And so in determining how I was going to do this, you guys, this was a trick that I learned at Ground Floor Artists. And it's really a great trick. So you see people fussy cutting all the time. And so I took my stencil, and I set it down on top of the tissue paper. Like this. And then I just took a lead pencil and then just outlined them on there. And so that was step 1. And then I took that paper and I fussy cut it with a stylus, not a stylus, with an X-Acto knife on a cutting mat. And you can get these cutting mats, they're smaller. They're like, you could probably get 3 of them out of this mat. But you can get them at the Dollar Tree for $1. And they work great. These are self-healing mats, so when you cut into it, I don't know how it does it, but it just heals itself. But it's much faster and much easier than using scissors to fussy cut, and much more accurate. And that's one of the tips I learned from Cynthia Dunn at Ground Floor Artists. And she teaches lots of classes, but I've taken several of her collage classes, and I'll be taking one again tomorrow. And so that's a tip. And it's a really good tip. It's much faster. So what I plan on doing with this guy is I'm going to put the moose, this is going to be snow, and we're going to use salt wash. This is Wise Owl Salt Wash, and there is another brand that Dixie Belle has that is Sea Spray. And they're both the exact same thing. So whatever you have on hand, and that's just a thickener. to give us the texture and to make that snowy. And then I have some white glitter, extra fine glitter, and I also have some silver, so I might mix, I don't know, I might mix a little silver in with it, but this is really pretty all by itself, so we'll see. And I have some gold. I don't know that we'll use it, but I just brought it in here. My table is loaded with stuff for this project. And I'm going to stencil, so this will be snow. This is the base of the snow globe, and so on there, when I made this stencil, you guys, I try to make these out of Mylar so that they're reusable, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. It just depends on the design. So if it didn't have words on here, I can make this out of Mylar all day long, but having the words on there that have, you know, like an O and an A, you can see how those pieces all come apart and you have to connect them. And I didn't have time to do that. So I went ahead and made, for today's purposes, just the words on a adhesive stencil. And it says, "Not a creature was stirring, not even a moose." So the "not even a moose" will go down here on the base of the snow globe, which I think will be really cute. And then we've got snow here. And then "not a creature was stirring" I'll put up here above the moose. So that's what my plan is for this dude. But I think we'll start with the other one first. So let me get all of this stuff out of the way. And you guys, these stencils are up on my website. So if you're interested in any of these, the wood ornaments are up on my website, and the decoupage tissue and the stencils. So I started on this one, and I base coated it in the cotton, and then I put blue tape on here, painter's tape, so that I could get my line going across here straight and even. And then I made a stencil that says "Merry Christmas" on it. And it's got cute trees and a little bit of snow falling. And that's what I'm going to put on the center of this, and then stencil that on. And then I'm going to use the decoupage tissue. I wanted to use the moose and trees is what I had thought I was going to, but I think they're actually too big for the area. So I'll probably do this one on the top here and the bottom. So let's get started. Does anybody have any questions? Hi, Lisa. I'm glad you made it. Micheline. Hi. Yes, you heard Scruffy. Hi, Miss Mary. I thought you had an eye appointment. You're here. Well, hello, my friend Nature. Are you back in town? Nature just had her first grandchild. Okay, so let's get started, you guys. If you haven't used a reusable stencil, and I'll work on trying to make this one a Mylar. Again, there's a lot of issues. You've got the dot, the center part of the R that needs to get connected, and all of these loops in here for Christmas. So I don't know if it would take a lot of time. So I don't know if I will get to it or not. But if you haven't used a an adhesive stencil before. They're really easy to use, and I really like using them because you rarely have any seepage. And so what you do is you pull it apart like this. So the back is, and every time I sell these reusable, I always have written instructions that go with them in case you forget how to use them. So you peel off the back. The back is like contact paper. And then you place it, and I'm going to stand up to do it so that I get it perfectly centered on here. There went the hair dryer. I think I'm going to take off my tape here. Then I think it'll be easier. See what a nice, straight, even line you get? And there's a trick to that. I put my tape down, then I take satin top coat and paint over the line area. And so if anything's going to seep under the tape, it's going to be that satin top coat, which is going to dry clear. That looks cute already. Love, love, love. Okay. So we'll see. So it actually fits corner to corner. Corner. So you want to burnish it down really well. Okay, and this top layer is called the transfer tape, and we want to peel that top layer off. I've been really excited about doing this project today. I love these ornaments, and there's just like endless things that you can do with them. And I haven't shown you guys my front door. It turned out beautiful. I haven't taken a picture and posted it yet because I need to get the, if you remember the piece of WooduBend I put on there, I need to get the Posh pigments put on it, and I just haven't had time. I've had a lot going on, and being out of town for half a week was part of that. Okay, so when you pull this off, you just want to pull it at a 45-degree angle like that. You don't want to pull straight up because that's going to lift up your stencil. So just put it down at a 45-degree angle. Okay, and so this lifted up the center of the E, so I'm glad it did that so I could show you what to do. So I just laid it back down, burnished it back in, and we just keep going. But when I'm just doing stuff for myself, because I have a Cricut machine and I can design and print out my own, I always use the adhesive stencils because you always get a perfect result. Okay, so we can throw that away. So I just want to burnish it down with my fingertips. Make sure everything is down really good. I love that it has a Christmas tree. It's just so festive and fancy. Okay, another step that you can safeguard and make sure you aren't going to have any seepage underneath is just take a little bit of your satin top coat. Let's see, it's probably this one. I'm going to turn this around so it's not upside down for you guys, now that I have it on straight. And I'm just going to take a little bit of satin top coat and I'm just going to put a coat of it over the stencil. So like I said, what happens is if anything was going to seep under there, this will keep it from showing up. It'll keep it from seeping. And because this is transparent, it's going to seal it. It doesn't take much, but it's a super good trick. I'm excited to be able to start working on Christmas projects. The holidays will come so quick. I got a phone call today. I'm not doing Pinner's conference this year. And I got a phone call today from, oh gosh, it was from Bisbee, from the Copper, I forget what it's called. I think it's the Copper something hotel. I've been there. It's a very cool place. Did I say Jerome? I meant Bisbee. And they're having an artist show sometime in November, but they didn't have any art suppliers or vendors there. So they called and asked me if I would like to come. And I thought it was great that they called and asked me, but they just didn't give me enough time to gear up for that. And after having done Pinners 2 years in a row, I just need a break. I just want to enjoy the holidays this year and not have a mess and not have stress and all of that. So I told them to call me next year and to give me heads up on it. Don't call me 6 weeks before I have to be there. But this is the first time they've done it, so they're just getting their act together too. But I would love to do that. Bisbee's super fun. It's been a couple of decades since I've been there. There's lots of Airbnbs. We did a train ride through the mine, which I remember as being really a good, it was fun and very educational. And boy, life as a miner was super hard back in those days. I think mining is still super hard, so. And I remember that the Copper Hotel, I think it has a different name than Copper Hotel, but anyway, that was really pretty too. Okay, so I'm going to use the cotton just like I did on here. Let me see how your comments are. Okay, Sherry, the top coat that I just put on, that's just a satin top coat, and you can see that it's clear, and so it doesn't change anything that I'm doing on here, but what it does is when it dries, if anything got underneath the lettering on here, it's going to be that clear top coat that I just put on. So I'm getting ready to paint the letters in white. If I hadn't put the top coat on here and I just went straight to the white, it's not necessarily going to happen because this is an adhesive stencil and they really are good about blocking seepage where your paint goes underneath the stencil. But if it was one of these Mylar stencils, I can guarantee you you're going to get seepage underneath here. So by doing that, if anything does seep under there, it's sealed now. So if anything seeps under there, it's the top coat and it's clear and it's sealed. And that's why I do it. It's just like taking out an insurance policy that it's not going to seep. I hope that helps you. I will. I'll try really hard to get the front door a picture done. I love my door. I really do. That color was perfect, and I really think it's pretty. I'm really, really happy with it. And I'm really happy that I added that WooduBend on there. Okay, so now I'm going to use the same cotton that I painted here because this is going to be decoupaged here and decoupaged here. And you guys, I always recommend that you get one of these popsicle sticks, and you can get them at any craft store. You can get them, I think you can get them at the Dollar Tree. I would be surprised if you couldn't, but I pick them up every time I see them because I go through a lot of them. But I really recommend that you stir your paint. You see all of this crusty stuff up here? That's because I was shaking the jar. And then you get all of that crusty in your lid, and you get a crust around the top, and then it's hard to screw on and unscrew your jar, and it's just a pain in the butt. And there is I can't turn this upside down. I can turn this one upside down. You see where this indentation is here? And so you've got this part right here. Well, your paint settles in that ring in there. And if you're shaking it, I doubt you're shaking it well enough to get everything incorporated in there. So by stirring it, you don't get all of this gunk on here. And you're getting all of your ingredients well incorporated. So now I don't have to worry about any seepage going underneath here. So I can just quickly get my paint on. And I think I'm going to paint this gold up here using the Posh pigments. I love that Posh pigment. And then decoupage down here. And then I think, I'm not a good bow maker, you guys. Are you guys good bow makers? But I think having a nice bow around the top of it and then hanging it on my pretty green front door, I think will look really festive. Sherry. Thank you so much. You know, I love doing furniture. I started on Saturday, I started doing the grandmother clock in my studio. I got a primer coat on it, and I got 2 coats. It's all painted inside and out with 2 coats of what the base coat's going to be. On the outside, it's Wise Owl Botanical Green, which, if you guys remember, I did a step stool quite a while ago, and I used the botanical green, and it's really a pretty green. And on the inside, when you open up the door, surprise, it has shelves on the inside, but green is one of my favorite colors, but my most favorite color is purple, like rich amethyst, royal purple. Not lavender. I'm not fond of lavender. I like the royal colors, the royal greens, the emeralds, the rubies. And so the inside, when you open it up, is a big surprise because it's called Black Cherry. It's the Wise Owl Black Cherry, and it's super gorgeous. And it's going to have harlequins on it. I have to get back in there. I'll be back in tomorrow. But if you guys are in the area, you should stop by. Ground Floor Artist is an amazing place, and it is such an honor and privilege that I get to have a studio there and teach classes. And there are 39 working artists there. And you get so much inspiration from each other, and they're all really great people, and they're all just more than happy to share what they're doing with you and answer any questions. And they have a boutique that has a lot of their work for sale in it, and at this time of year when we're thinking about our Christmas list and party gifts and that kind of thing, that's an awesome place to pick something up. And then you're supporting a small business and an artist. So, okay, so I'm just going to give this a quick dry in between coats, and then I'm going to go back and put a second coat. And then once we get the second coat on and give it a quick dry, then we can pull this stencil off. And then you guys can help me decide which one of these decoupage patterns I should use for the top and the bottom down here. Don't you love this dryer? It's so quiet. Okay, we'll quickly put a second coat on here. And these boards are fast and easy to do. You could get your girlfriends together. If you wanted to do a paint party, we could do a paint party. Or you could order the stencils and boards and get together with your kids or grandkids. My granddaughter loves to do art. Loves it. And she's very artistic. She's had the privilege of having a really good art teacher at her school, and that teacher has really brought out the artist in Miss Aubrey. If you guys think any of your friends would enjoy this video, I would love it if you would sprinkle it around. And if you need a list of all the components to do this project, they're listed in the description up above. Okay, we'll give it another quick dry. So what projects are you guys all working on? Okay, so I like to take the stencil off when it's still, I mean, it's dry to the touch, nothing's coming up, but it's not like bone dry. Peeled up a little bit. I'm going to have to go back and touch up. I think I've brushed it along a little bit. And you can see why these are one-time adhesive stencils. Okay, I did do one thing that I've never done before, and I can see that I shouldn't ever do it again. And what that was is when, you know, when I had the blue tape on here and I put a coat of the satin top coat on there to keep it from seeping underneath. And while I was doing it, I thought, oh, I'll just put a coat of top coat over all of the red. And I shouldn't have done that because that makes that surface slick. And when I was pulling that off in a few places, like right there, it pulled off the, pulled it off of the paint. Pulled the paint off. Because it didn't have enough, that satin top coat made it too slick. So I won't do that again. I thought I was being super smart. All these little pieces that I'm peeling off now, that's why, these are why I can't make it into a Mylar stencil, because you have to have all of these connected. And I can do it, it's just time consuming. Did I get them all? I'm going to turn it around so I can see. I believe I did. Looks pretty good. Okay, so you guys help me out here. So I don't think I mentioned, but the red on here is Dixie Belle Barn Red. And it's a perfect red with this decoupage tissue. And so now we're going to decoupage down here and this section up here. So you guys tell me which one of these patterns, like I told you I really wanted to do the deer, and the deer and the moose and the trees, they're too big for the space I have left. This one is smaller because this is a full sheet, and it's smaller, but I think it's still too big for the section that I have left down here. So, you guys, what do you think? Barn red. Micheline, it's barn red. Like the old barn painted red. So, you guys, tell me what you think. So I think I have enough red, so I don't think I want this on there, but I do like this on there. And I like the green on there. So what do you guys think it should be? Okay, so Mary says, okay, so Mary, you're saying this one, the Christmas plaid with the green and the red? So Mickey says, just do me. Vanessa, I love the deer and the moose and the trees. And you can be sure I'll do it on another project because that's really my favorite. I'd love a pair of pajamas with that pattern on it. Okay, so Vanessa says the one in the middle. That's what Mary said. And okay, and Mary says the one in the middle. Okay, so it's the one in the middle. Okay, I like how you guys think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and just cut that whole section out. So I'm not trying to wrestle all of this paper. I love crafting, you guys. I used to have my own accounting business, and I'm a much happier person using the right side of my brain than the left side of my brain. I'm really blessed to wake up every day and say, oh, what are you going to make today? My issue is, like, when I do these lives, rarely does a project get finished in 1 hour, and so then these projects all go into rotation. So I have a lot of stuff that is waiting to be finished. I think Royce did a TikTok a few weeks ago saying her husband was asking her why she doesn't ever get the projects that she starts finished. And I about spit my coffee out when I saw that one, because it was like, oh my gosh, I completely get it. Completely get it. Okay, so you can see this is what it was like before I painted it. And I think just to have it finished properly, like if I was giving this as a gift to someone, I would paint the back as well. But this is a good example of, if I put this down on here, it's not horrible, but it's not as nice as if you have a base coat of white. Can you see the difference, how that white just pops on there? So we'll start with the easy part. I'm going to do down here first. And so I've got my corner here, this corner, where I'm tapping my finger, is lined up perfect. And then this is going across. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingers to mark where I need to cut. I just want to have a good indentation there so I can see where I need to cut it. Okay, and scissors. And I could have used a brush and sanded off the edge rather than the way I'm doing it. And truthfully, that's the way I do it 99% of the time. So the fact that I scored it with my finger and I am cutting it could have room for error. Let's see how I did. Looks pretty darn good. Okay, so I'm gonna set that there. That looks cute, you guys. Don't you think that looks cute? Okay, so somewhere on this table, I have a plate. That has some, oh, fell down here on the floor. Ceiling fans blowing stuff all over the place. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of, again, the satin top coat. And I've got this laid down exactly where I want it to be. And so by holding it down with my finger, I'm going to go along the top of this line, and satin top coat will dry perfectly clear, transparent. It's not going to leave any residue. And I don't want to shift this paper at all. Okay, so now I'm going to set it back down, and I'm going to take a piece of saran wrap And so I call this my anchor line. So there isn't a wrinkle one there, you guys, not a single wrinkle. And so now I can easily just lift this up, pull it back, and put down, it's such a small area, I can just go ahead and put all of the medium down. I'm gonna turn this around again for you guys. And it's like I said, it's such a small area. I'm just going to go ahead and I usually just do a section at a time, but this is such a small section. I think this is going to be fine. So I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. And just go over the whole thing. And the reason for using the saran wrap is that there is so much texture in your fingerprint. And the texture from your fingerprint would actually pull and tear that paper. So see how that didn't adhere right there? So I'm just going to put some more medium on. I must have been too skimpy there. Start in the center and lay it down. Now, if I had wet the paper instead of cutting it with the scissors, then I would take a sanding block and sand off the edge, which is how I usually do it. So I think that looks super cute, you guys. So let's do the top part up here, and that'll be a little trickier because I have this section right here. So again, I'm going to put this corner up here where I'm tapping my finger. Oh good, I can see that line underneath it. I'm going to take my pencil and make that line a little bit darker. I was actually wondering how I was going to do this. Okay, and I can see that line through here. So I've got that corner lined up and that's lined up. So I'm going to take that pencil and I'm going to because I can see where that line was underneath it. Okay. This time, I think I'm going to use the brush and water method so you guys can see how that works. So by doing that, here's my edge. Let me see if I can. So here's my edge right here, and off to the outside of that edge with a brush, I am just wetting the tissue. I don't want to get right there's where my edge is. I want to be outside of that edge. So now you can see two ways of doing it. And truthfully, this is the way I do it 99% of the time. So then I'm just going to take my tissue and just pull it apart. Side. We used almost that whole section. Okay, so just like we did on the bottom, got a little water. So just like we did on this section, I'm going to line this up right on my line. Like that. And just like we did it before, I'm going to pull my paper back and lay down some product, which is the Dixie Belle Satin Top Coat. It's what I always use for decoupage. I know lots of people still use Mod Podge for their decoupage. Just a word of caution that Mod Podge is not archival, meaning that over time it's going to break down and crack and yellow. If you use the satin top coat, that's a finishing top coat. That's what we put on furniture. It is never going to crack and yellow. And it is 100% archival. So if you want your pieces to hold up over time, I recommend that you use a good top coat. If you're using Wise Owl, the varnish or the 1 hour enamel are wonderful. If you're using Dixie Belle paint, any of the top coats, the gator hide, the satin top coat, if you don't want any sheen to it, you can use the flat. You can use the gloss. Any of those top coats will work great. Before I lay that all the way down, I'm going to trim that rim. I should have done it before I put all that top coat down. I don't know how we're doing for time, but I have one last thing. I want to show you how pretty the Posh Pigment will be up here on this part. One nice thing about using this tissue is it is 18 pound. And it's really, really nice to handle. You can see how pretty and smooth that's gone on. And completely by accident, you guys, completely by accident, my pattern matches up top and bottom. Boy, was I lucky, because I didn't put one single thought into that. Okay, so I'm going to get a sanding block. This is 120 and I just cut them in half. And I want to dry it first because you don't want to sand it while it's wet. So on the bottom, I marked it and cut it exactly. On the top, I'm giving you the example of how I do it the majority of the time. I may have to put a little more product, but I'll go ahead and sand it first. So we've gone over a little bit, but not too bad, and it won't take me very long, but I do want to see, I do want you to see how gorgeous this Posh pigment is and what a neat product it is. Okay, let's see if that's dry enough. So I'll start on this side. So all you do is you take your sanding block, and it's nice if you cut them in half. It's just easier. And on the edge, going downwards, you just sand along that edge, and it will cut it perfectly. See how perfect that is? Let me see if that's better. Yeah, there you can see how clean that edge is. We'll do it on this side. In a downward motion. All nice and clean. Okay. Where's my saran wrap? Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do, and it doesn't take long, is we're going to use the Posh pigment. And this Posh pigment is from WooduBend, and it comes in lots of colors. There's 3 or 4 different golds and silvers and coppers and bronze, and then there's, again, your royal colors that I love so much. And it's a powder, and that's what I really like about it. Besides it being, I'm trying to get it there, it's in camera. Besides it being so brilliant and rich in color, the fact that it comes in a powder, you never have to worry about it drying up and being wasteful. And I love that about it. And Posh Chalk also has an infuser, which is their top coat, which is the Posh Chalk there, I got it. which is their product of top coat. You can use the Posh Chalk infuser, or you can use the Dixie Belle top coat. It works with either one. And I'm going to use the infuser since I have it. I haven't had it open in a while. Such a good sealer, I can't get it open. Well, since I can't get it open, I'm going to just go ahead and use the Dixie Belle Satin Top Coat. So I'm just going to put a little squirt and I'm going to take my little knife here and just take a little bit at a time. It's a very fine powder. And I'm just going to add a little bit to this powder. You can see what a gorgeous color it is. And it just gets liquid. It's like liquid gold. I don't know if you guys have ever seen gold melt. I used to make a lot of jewelry, and melting silver and gold was, this is what it looks like when you melt it. And look at that. Look how brilliant that is. And it just took a little bit, and I probably actually mixed up more than I'm going to need. But like I said, this comes in gorgeous colors. And you don't have to worry about it drying up in your jar. Goes on really smoothly. So, are any of you guys good bow makers? So I'm going to give it a second coat. I'm going to move that aside and give it a quick dry. So, Vanessa, I'm trying to read your comment. Let me see. Okay, so you need to watch and crafting tonight. You have COVID, oh bless your heart, and your husband was taken by ambulance yesterday, but thank God, just spoke to nurse, only his electrolytes are low. So does your husband have COVID too? Vanessa, I'm so sorry. Nikki, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Gracie. Grania. Did I say it right? So about my bows, okay, get my granddaughter or teenager close by and make it a project to master bows, then you could trade her for craft painting lessons. I like how you think, Sonia. Use Vaseline on the lid when you put it back on so it reopens. I've heard people say that. Vaseline is oil-based and all of these products are water-based, and so I've always been hesitant to do that. Lisa, you make pretty good bows? Oh, well, working for a florist, I can see why. Well, I wish you ladies were here with me, because then I could just have one of you guys demonstrate for all of us the best way to make bows. So I'm just putting on a quick second coat. What do you guys think of this Posh pigment in gold? Isn't it gorgeous? It's really, really, really rich. Okay, and then I want to go around the edges of the top. So again, you guys, I have these ornaments on my website. I think they're $3.99. And the decoupage tissue. And you probably already have the paint in your stash. So out of one tissue, you could get several of these ornaments made. You probably already have the white paint. So what a nice hostess gift or a gift for your neighbor. So I've watched lots of videos on making bows, and I'm gonna have to watch a couple more. If I do it right when I'm watching the video, I do pretty good, but if I let too much time go by, then I have to just start over. Bows are not my thing. Thanks, Micheline. Thank you so much. So if you didn't tune in at the very beginning, I showed another project, another one of these using a mousse. And I knew I couldn't get both of these done today, but I was so excited about this mousse. So this is the Roy Cycle stencil. That's a snow globe, and it fits this perfectly. And then I cut out a mousse stencil, And then I cut him out of the tissue paper. So he's gonna go in here, and then there's gonna be snow and snowflakes and all kinds of yummy stuff on this one. So I'll try to get him done this week, or maybe I'll just do him next week for that video. But we're done. It's all ready to have a bow put on it and hang it on the front door. It would make a nice hostess gift. Or just hang it up on the wall. I think it turned out really cute, you guys. I'm really happy with it. And I don't know if that gold is showing up in person, how pretty it really is. It's really a beautiful gold. And that was Barn Red for the stencil. So there we have it, you guys. Thanks, Lisa. It is Christmassy. Micheline, I love the moose too. The moose is my favorite. I love deer and I love moose. This one was going to be a little more complex, and we went over on this one, so I might just do a separate video on that one and just post it up on YouTube. I'm not sure, but, or maybe I'll do it next week. We'll just see how the week goes. But I'm happy with it. Thanks, Micheline. What a nice thing to say. I appreciate that. I appreciate seeing you guys come on here every week. When I first started this, I would have one, maybe two people on, and then it was a couple of people. But you guys are really faithful. You show up almost every week. I really appreciate it. And you chat with me, and that makes it a whole lot more fun for me. Thanks, Molly. It does make it more fun when you guys chat along. Then I don't feel like I'm just sitting here talking to myself. All right, you guys, thanks so much. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to put one more coat of satin top coat over this whole thing, and then that whole thing will be protected to be hanging on the door outside. Rain and dust and all of that will not damage this at all. It'll have a nice coat of protection on there. So I'll do that tomorrow, and that's an important step. So you guys, thanks so much. If you liked this, Mary, I love my Cricut, but let me tell you, there's a huge learning curve. But if you get one, I can tell you who can help you out. Not me. Thanks, Micheline. I appreciate that. So you guys, I'll see you next week. Next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Same place, same station. Bye.